What up, my big dogs? Finally, we have an update from Tomac himself, okay? Just letting you boys know, this will be the last video that I make on this Tomac saga. I'm sure some of you guys are probably thinking, what the hell is this Turley Tomac channel? This is all I really been making videos on for the past couple days, but this will be the last one. I just thought it was important to at least come in here and talk about what Tomac actually said about his injury and his future plans and all that type of shit. So my video from yesterday, that was actually made entirely before I watched Tomac's announcement update video. Okay, so that video from yesterday was more about just the Star Yamaha's post and Tomac's wife's post on the situation. But today's video is going to be talking all about that Tomac actual video. So one of the first crazy things that I noticed was the fact that Tomac basically said that the injury was just a freak racing sort of incident. He didn't say that he had any previous injuries that he was hiding from us. He didn't say that he had anything wrong with that leg before having that injury. And he even said himself that, you know, he's overjumped jumps like that before and not had that kind of an injury. So he don't even really know what caused it, but I know initially I was thinking that there was something else going on, like he had already, you know, compromised that leg in some kind of a way that would have made that injury easier to happen. I mean, that's just what you would automatically logically think, because we literally never see ruptured Achilles injuries in Supercross, and we see dudes over jumping shit and under jumping shit all the time. Way worse than Tomac did. But apparently there was no previous injury. That was a perfectly healthy leg that just happened to. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around that one, because I've seen people, you know, come up short on 75-foot Supercross triples and completely pop theirself totally off of the bike, you know, be bleeding from the head and shit, but they never rupture an Achilles tendon. And then Tomac goes out there and barely overjumps a rhythm section jump by like 1 foot and has one of the most gnarly injuries that you can possibly have. This shit is crazy, bro. But apparently that's the case. That's Tomac's story anyways, so we just kind of have to go with that. But that was his first big thing that he said, was that he don't even really understand how that injury happened. I guess nobody really does. He just basically said it had to have been the G forces, the G out going down in that, you know, that actual transition of that rhythm section. It's hard to believe that would cause that much of an injury, but nonetheless, the other big part of Tomac's update was the fact that he said he's not fully made a decision yet on what he's going to do with, as far as coming back to pro racing or whatever. He supposedly has not made a decision on that yet, and he will be letting us know in the next couple months what he decides to do with that, which is exactly what I said he would do in my video from yesterday. If you go back to that, it's around that 10-minute mark in that video. And reminding you, that video from yesterday was made entirely before hearing anything from Tomac, so the T-Sipper predictor back at it again, bros. That's exactly what I thought he would say. Like, he's not just gonna automatically come out and say, yep, I'm retiring, I'm done. Like, I just don't think anybody of his caliber is going to do that. Just because, why would he? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not gonna negatively affect him any to wait a little bit and then give everybody the announcement. I feel like he's just trying to process everything right now that happened with the crash and with the team and all that type of stuff. Like it really wouldn't make any sense. Even if Tomac had fully decided that he's totally done and he's going to retire, it still wouldn't really make any sense for him to just automatically come out and say that. Like, there's still some stuff, you know, some I'm sure he's signed some contracts with Star Yamaha, probably trying to get that stuff figured out. But that's exactly what I said in my video from yesterday. Before I had ever heard anything from Tomac, I said, you know, he's probably not just going to come right out and say that he's retiring. It's probably going to be a couple months, a month or two, before you actually hear his real plans as far as coming back to the pro racing. I still don't think there's any way in hell that he's going to try to come back to the pro racing. I just don't. I think it's way too late in his career, way too gnarly of an injury, and the fact that he's already proved everything he had to prove, and he was already telling us. I mean, it was already to that point in 2023 where Tomac was questionable whether or not he was even going to be racing this year. And then it was questionable whether or not he was going to race in outdoors. And then I felt like he just started doing so good that it just kind of turned into more and more and more. But now that he had this kind of an injury this late in his career, and he's got a family now, he's already proved everything he needed to prove. He broke all those records this year in Supercross. I mean, would it even make that much sense for Tomac to try to come back again? I just can't even wrap my head around, even if he didn't even have the torn Achilles. Or not, I should correct myself, ruptured Achilles, okay? I think a lot of people are kind of thinking it's less of an injury than it actually is. A torn Achilles is different than a ruptured Achilles. A ruptured tendon is like the worst kind of injury, hardest to come back from, the longest kind of recovery time. I mean, the ruptured, not torn Achilles, that is going to be one of the most difficult things to come back from. And yeah, Tomac could come back from it. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying I can't imagine a world where he actually would try to do that. I just don't see why. You know, I can't figure out the why. I'm not trying to sit here and question the can he do it. It's more so the why would he do it? Why would he try to come back? That just wouldn't really make any sense. He's already straight up beat all these dudes before. He's got all the accolades and the championships and the records and everything. He's already done it on this Star Yamaha, just like he spoke about in his update post. He talked about last year having one of the most memorable seasons ever with Star Yamaha, winning the Supercross Championship, Motocross Championship, and the Motocross and Nations Championship, okay? So he's already done everything he was going to do on that Star Yamaha on top of everything else. He ain't even got anything else to prove to the team. Spency Boy popping off more than Tomac out here. Holy shit. But you get where I'm coming from, though. It's like, what is Tomac coming back going to prove anything? Like, it's just not even going to do anything. I don't know why he even would, you know? He's already came back from a bad injury and proved that he could do that before with his, tearing both the shoulders out at Lakewood there, and then came back from that. He's already proved he can do that. Like, literally, it's not going to do absolutely anything for Tomac, I feel like, other than be a headache for him and be a struggle to try to come back and be on the same level that he was this year, like, after having that, ruptured Achilles, it's just going to be more trouble than it's worth at the end of the day. That's what I think. Even after him giving us this update on all this and saying he hasn't, decided on his race plans yet, you can just see it in his eyes, bro. You can just see it in his demeanor, bro. You can just see it in the stuff he was saying with that update video. He is totally done. Tomac will retire from this injury, like I've been saying from the start. He will retire from this injury. Just because you're not hearing it right away doesn't mean that's not going to be the final result, okay? What'll happen is here in about a month or 2 months, Tomac will come out with another update video, and it'll say something like, man, after sitting down, considering everything, realizing everything I've accomplished in my career and with the team, I've decided there's really no point in me coming back at this point. I just want to start my normal life and spend more time with my family. It's going to be something like that right there, brothers. Again, I am the T-Sipper, the predictor, bro. I was never expecting Tomac to just right away come out and say, "Yup, I'm retiring." Like, somebody of that caliber, they're just not going to do that regardless of what kind of injury they have or regardless of what kind of situation happens. Like, he's going to sleep on it a little bit, of course. But, like, I think Tomac's already made up his mind in his head. He just ain't told you that yet. You see what I'm saying? Spency Boy bouncing around, bro. He just ain't told the public that yet, which is smart, you know? Give yourself a little bit of time to think about it, you know? Sit around and ponder on it. But I think he's like 99% going to retire, 1% going to try to come back to the pro racing. That's about where I would put it. So, you know, if you like those odds, then, you know, yeah, you can keep dreaming that he's going to come back to the pro racing, but bro, he's just not going to do it, man. And I think it's given some people kind of a false sense of hope. The fact that Tomac's wife posted, you know, we're coming back stronger, and then Tomac comes out with this post basically saying, I haven't made a decision yet. I think it's kind of tricking up some of the hardcore Tomac fans. You know, if you give them any little sliver of hope that maybe Tomac's not done yet, then they're going to jump on that and believe that. But when you start thinking of it in a more realistic sense, there's just no way, man. It's going to take way too long for him to really try to come back. If he did try, it's going to take way too long to get that injury totally healed up where he wants it to be. Then he would have to sign all new agreements with Star Yamaha. You know, he would have to look into all that. I mean, it would just be like a whole nother level of a process for Tomac to try to actually come back at this point. And I just think it's too much trouble. It's just way too much trouble. I think that was a sign from the motocross gods. Time to hang those boots up. Awesome career. Did everything he needed to do. You know, multiple championships. Got those Supercross championships. Took him a minute to do that, but he finally did that. Got the motocross championships. Got all those records. Why would he come back? That's the thing I want you boys to tell me down in the comments. Why would he even come back? Why?